So, I'm going to be doing a review of Bloodborne, The Death of Sleep. This is a comic from my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again for this comic. And basically what this is obviously the comics that are an adaptation of the Bloodborne series. Now, I have never played Bloodborne. I have in no way, shape, or form played the Bloodborne games at all. Not because I'm not a fan of it. I just don't. It was for PlayStation and it never came to Xbox. That was kind of the thing. But I really do like just how atmospheric this game is, and also how I also feel like if I could play it, I'd rage a lot because it's from the same people who made Dark Souls. So I feel like I would just kind of rage quit after a little bit. Just saying. So. Bloodborne, but the Bloodborne universe was always interesting to me, and I was very curious to read the comics, because I always hear people say, oh, the Bloodborne comics, you don't really need to read the game, play the game to understand the universe. So I was always curious about that. I was very interested to see how that could play out, and yeah. So Chris sent me, as like a Christmas gift, along with a few other things, he sent me this book. He sent me this book along in a box set with the first 3 volumes. I do understand there's another box set coming in August that follows 4 through 6, which would be cool to have. But yeah, so what did I think of Bloodborne, the first volume called Death of Sleep? The Death of Sleep is, it doesn't really follow the video game. It's more about the hunter taking this child on a mission who is a pale blood. And I have to be honest, this comic is very more art over story. This is a comic that depends more on the artistry than the story itself. And usually that sometimes that can help or hurt, but like this comic is very beautiful. Like this comic is very has some beautiful artwork to it. Let me show one that probably won't get me in trouble real fast. Because there is a lot of it, but it's gruesome artwork. It's a lot of dark and gruesome artwork, but again, it captures the game's atmosphere. There's even a great moment where the character's having a dream, and basically they get killed, and it has the classic "you died" on the screen, on the page. So I thought that was pretty funny. But you see, it's shit like this that is just amazing artwork. The comic, I forgot to mention, is written by, I'm going to butcher this name, Alice Knott, artwork by Piotr Kowalski. Oh god, I'm going to butcher these names, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, the comic does basically depend more on, because the dialogue is very few and far between in a lot of places for a 4-issue comic, and it depends more on story, and thankfully these do have a lot more pages. I wonder if Titan Books can just use more pages than most books, because I feel like that was my thing with the Conan the Barbarian comic I reviewed not too long ago, basically talking about how in that book it was perfectly paced for 4 issues, but it was like it felt more like it had more pages to spare than anything else. So I am curious, because it did feel like it had more pages. There are also a few little things I liked about this book, where there's a great moment where the hunter is being tended to, and it's like, I can't tell if you're a man or woman sometimes. This is a very androgynous character, which makes sense because you could pick being man or woman in the game, so I like how they played on that. There's also a really great quote that feels like something that should apply today, where the pale blood, the kid, is talking to the hunter, and it's this great back and forth between the two of them that I really liked, where it's like, what is your opinion, child? What's an opinion? An idea that deforms itself into thinking it's a fact. I am not sure I harbor any. Should I? I suspect you are fine the way you are. I like that. I'm going to use that as like, an opinion is an idea, an opinion is an idea that deforms itself into a fact. I'm going to use that in my lexicon in the future. I really like that. There's also some great horror to it. There's also monsters that, if you have played the game, you probably are going to enjoy this, probably even more than I have. But I am looking forward to it, at reading further into the series. This does end on an odd note, but again, this comic is more on the art over story. And if we can learn anything from Todd McFarlane, then we can learn we can learn that art over story is sometimes the best part. All in all, great atmosphere. I think I read this and I've never played the games and I really enjoyed it. But if you've ever played this, you should probably pick this up. And if anyone is curious, I might do reviews of volumes 2 and 3 in the future. This is more to gauge. This review is more to like gauge if people would be actually interested in reading the comic, me reviewing the comics. So yeah. So I'm also curious if there's any Bloodborne fans out in my subscribers. But anyway, just comment below, let me know. Chris, thank you once again for this comic. And other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.